My fellow Americans and fellow citizens from around the world, you already know exactly what I'm going to say, as though you could read my mind. And I know that you can read my mind because you can read my heart. And I know that you can read my heart because you know my values. You know my values because I, like many of you standing around here today, am an American. Being an American means that we believe in a set of ideals. And a set of ideals that defines us as a nation, not a culture, not a race, but a set of principles that has made our nation what it is when it is at its best. A set of principles and a set of ideals of which we fall short when our nation is at its worst. Ideals like immigration and the opportunity that it promises, independence and the responsibility that that implies, multiculturalism, and the tolerance that that demands. In this nation, there is no room for a government of control. There is no room for policies of aggression. There is no room for an environment of intimidation. Just as we must demand the best version of America, so too does the world long for the America of our ideals. We know the world yearns for the sound of idealism because in its silence, evil has grown. Evil grows in the hegemonic projection of power. Evil grows in the imperialistic control of foreign people. Evil grows in the despotic arrogance of nation building. The world awaits a new leadership away from evil. Make no mistake, all leadership comes from values. It is not for American values to change, but for American policy to change by aligning with what we already know true American values to be. Politicians will tell you that it is in our interest for them to exert control, both at home and abroad. You know this to be utter and unadulterated bullshit. Other Americans sense it, and the rest of the world is tired of it. For this reason, ours is a government that operates not in the light, but in the shadows, silencing competing voices, prosecuting whistleblowers, murdering resistant forces. Ours is a government that operates not in our interest, but in the interest of the instruments of power itself, maintaining the expense and obligation of supporting NATO 30 years beyond its sell-by date, maintaining the expense and obligation of supporting Ukraine in a war neither of our making nor of our defense, maintaining the expense and the obligation of supporting a policy of strategic ambiguity toward the independence of Taiwan, maintaining the expense and the obligation of supporting a military-industrial complex, a veritable war machine capable of defeating the rest of the world combined. Ours is a government that operates not to minimize the probability of nuclear war, but to maximize the chances of winning a nuclear exchange. It is not in the interest of peace to deploy so-called conventional weapons that so outpace our adversaries that they imagine no other recourse than tactical nuclear weapons. It is not in the interest of peace to continue to widen the gap between American dominance and the ability of rivals who would themselves exert regional influence. It is not in the interest of peace to posture before other nations so as to invoke fear in their populations. It is not in the interest of peace to adopt the world's subjugation as our objective. And because our government's policy is not in the interest of peace, it can never be in the interest of us. Today, here in this place, us means a coalition of Americans and others with little more in common than an understanding of the misalignment of American foreign policy with American values. If we share no other common understanding, let it be that such misalignment will always and everywhere undermine the interests of us as Americans. Only peace can allow the ingredients required for prosperity to spread. Only peace can allocate the resources our economy requires to grow. Only peace can achieve the framework our society needs to develop. Only peace can apply the values our culture cherishes. Only peace can afford the attention our children deserve. Only peace can advance the future of which each and every one of us dreams. A policy that does not align with our long-term interests can never fulfill the best of what America can be, and can never provide the leadership the world needs from America. The world is ready for a message of peace, and Americans are ready to send that message. We are ready to give peace a try because we have been failed by the war machine, a machine that has brought us abject failure in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, a machine that has poured blood onto our hands. So too have we been failed by a corporate machine that has robbed us of our resources, a machine that has robbed us of the opportunity to lead the world toward prosperity. We have been failed by a political machine that has robbed us of the simple dignity of being represented by a foreign policy that reflects our values as Americans. And we have been failed by a media machine that has robbed us of the truth, a truth that embarrasses us with failure, offends us with aggression, diminishes us through control of politicians, and insults us by doing so with our own resources. The time has come to put an end to the reign of the political class. The woke prosecutors, the political self-dealers, the war machine militarists, the crony capitalists, the administrative chieftains, and the money-printing royalty, the self-obsessed media snobs, and the self-appointed victim seers, the entitlement peddlers, and the snake oil pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
The time has come and the time is now for the encroachment on our values and the erosion of our very sovereignty. Sovereignty over our policies, both foreign and domestic, continues apace. Politicians continue the construction of institutions of control. Corporations continue the construction of relationships of manipulation. The media continue the construction of narratives of justification. The wicked sleep not, and so must not we. Sleep not, peace seekers and value keepers. Sleep not, family makers and business builders. Sleep not, patriots, nationalists, liberals, and libertarians like you. Sleep not, my fellow Americans, sleep not, fellow citizens of the world. Sleep not, for the time has come to turn the tables. No longer can we afford to accept the authoritarianism of the political class to declare war on behalf of our nation, to declare war on our values, to declare war effectively on us. The time has come for us to be the ones to declare that war on their values, on their disdain, on their presumptions to authority, on their institutions, on their apparatus, on their agencies, on their administration. The time has come for us to declare war on their state. Thank you.